Here for the calculus video assessment problem number 1, which requires me to answer 4 questions about the graphs f of x and g of x. Now the first question asks, is f of g of x continuous at x equals 0? Well, as you can see, when g is 0, you get 2 outputs, 1 and 2, and then you plug those in the f of x graph, 1 and 2, and they are both negative 1. So you can see because of this, the point exists, the limit exists, and these two are equal to each other because f of 1 is equal to f of 2. So therefore, this function is continuous at x equals 0. Second question asks, is g of f of x continuous at x equals 0? Well, we just do the opposite thing in this question. We take f of 0, which is 0 in this function, and we plug it in to g, which in result we get 2 outputs, and this represents discontinuity of the function. The third question asks, what is the limit as x approaches infinity of f of g of x? Well, this limit is negative 1 because, as you can see, the limit of as g approaches infinity is infinity. You see, as this line, as you go farther along this line, then the function you'll get a higher and higher number until you reach infinity. So then you plug in infinity for the f of x graph, and you find that no matter how high you go for the x, it'll be negative 1. X will always, whatever number you plug in for x, you will always get negative 1. So that shows that the limit would be negative 1. And the final question asks, if h of x equals this new piecewise function, which involves adding the function f of x and g of x together from negative 2 to 0, and then multiplying them to a value of k after x increases positively, and what would this k value have to be for h of x can be continuous at x equals 0? This k value would have to be negative 1/2, because as you can see, the limit as x approaches 0 from the left side of f of x is 0, and as it approaches, as the limit of g of x, as x approaches 0 from the left side of g of x, this limit is 1. So when you add those together, see I drew a little arrow right there, shows that I have to add them together and get 1. And then so I have to multiply the next two, the limits from the right side, because this x is positive. So from the positive side, you have to take the limit as x approaches 0 from the positive side of f of x and g of x. And as you can see, for g of x, that value is 2. And for f of x, the value is negative 1. So we multiply those together, and we get negative 2. Then we set negative 2 times k equal to 1, and we solve. Get k equals negative 0.5. Thank you. This has been the video assessment problem number 1.